Hi guys, and welcome to the second playoff series in the LJL of the Summer Split of 2023. This game is going to be between Fukuoka SoftBank HAWKS Gaming and Fennel. These are the second and third seeds, opposite way around to the way I said them. Fennel is the second seed. And a clash of the two of the best ADCs in the league, if we ignore Utapon, who's currently playing top lane for DFM. Marble and Ssol, or Sol. It's going to be an interesting clash. Earlier in the seed split, we had Fennel take the best of three series, but Hawks have only continued to scale up as the season has gone on. And these two teams are looking like they could be competitive when they're playing DFM in the next round, which is where they'll go if they win. If they do lose, however, they should be absolute favourites in the lower bracket in their next game against the winner of Burning Core or ADCs, two very, very weak teams. Both should be easily swept by these two sides. So we'll see, that shouldn't be an issue. The only issue is if you do drop into lower bracket, you've got to play Sengoku Gaming earlier, which is going to be a very, very difficult game for both of these teams to win. Sengoku are slowly improving, getting a lot better, looking like a top team in the region, potentially even better than DFM, as they've got players like Loken, formerly of JDG. But even then, even if you don't get to play Sengoku, let's say Sengoku lose against the winner of against V3 or against Chaos Gaming Act, who lost to DFM convincingly yesterday. Chaos Gaming Act is still a very strong side. They've got players like Honey, who I think is arguably one of the best ADCs. Again, these two teams have got good ADCs. Going to be a very strong competitive. ADC is looking like the strongest lane in the league right now. Milan coming on strides. Loken, obviously, Sengoku. So let's get into this draft. As you can see, we've got fairly typical bans early on. Kai's getting locked in for Sengoku. I expect to see that in the hands... Actually, it could go in the hands of Dasher or Marble. They're both pretty solid on the champion. I expect if this Annie does get locked in for Fennel, that will probably end up mid. The Nocturne going alongside that is a bit of a rarer pick. Hachimecha does love his Nocturne historically, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick it up. But I have seen Tanner play it a couple of times as well, and he's looked very proficient on it. So it wouldn't be too much of an issue if he was to play it. I think the strength about both of these teams is they're a lot more flexible than DFM, like historically and currently. And both these teams play around their ADCs in all... Well, so Hawks will always play around their ADC. Fennel don't always play around Sol, but when they do play around Sol, they look really, really good. The Ari getting locked in for Dasher confirms that it will be Marble who plays the Kai'Sa. I think that is the stronger way around for Hawks. I think they do look better when Marble is the one playing Kai'Sa on the really strong pick. I wouldn't be surprised if this Vi does get locked in. Blank has played it a couple of times and looked fairly proficient on it. I do prefer other jungle picks, but that's because I don't particularly like Vi rather than anything else. We're not going to talk too much about the stylistic matchup yet until we get into later picks. I would expect that this might be either an ADC or support pickup here for Fennel. If it is Zeri, it is Zeri. That's a very strong pick for Sol. Sol loves Zeri. I mean, LJL in general loves Zeri a lot more than other regions still. Like, obviously, when Zeri was popular, they were like playing her as much as everyone else was. But now she's like Renekton, where she's a feature of the league, even when she's not very strong. Jace ban makes sense. Recap and Tanner can play Jace. Maybe not to like LCK standards, or LPL standards, but they're still fairly proficient on them. The Jax ban, again, it's another strong top laner. You want to get that out of Kinati's hand because he looks really strong when he's allowed to play strong picks. I'd expect this could be another top ban here. Maybe they might try and throw in a support ban, but I imagine this Annie might be going support now, just based on the current picks from Fennel. But I don't know. There goes the Gwen ban. That's really nice. Another strong top laner out of the game. That's 4 in this second round of bans. I expect they're going to Fennel, if they're playing how they normally will, they would want to counter pick top. So this will confirm where Annie's playing. There we go. Annie's playing mid, actually, so I was wrong. I'm a little bit surprised about that. Because Corporal is, as one of the few imports in this league that's not Korean. I mean, he's not really an import. He's Australian Japanese, so he doesn't actually count as an import. He's one of the few people who doesn't represent Japan in this league, because he reps the Aussie flag. He does quite like his Annie play. Vista picking up the Rakan is not remotely surprising. He really likes to play anything that can follow up his team's engage, or can lead the engage himself, and it makes sense with the Kai'Sa going in, the Ari going in, the Vi going in, And then we've got the K'Sante going in. K'Sante's still a very strong pick. I expect Kinato to operate it very well. He's going to be one of the as he's one of the top lanes in this league. I expect that. Oh, that's an interesting pick. Tana does like his I can't. Oh my god, I can't say his name. His name's gone. Oh my god, Vlad. He does like his Vlad. Oh my god. I don't know why Vlad escaped me. He does like it. But at the same time, it's not a pick he always will pick up. So it's rare to see it, even though it is like one of his stronger picks. We'll have to see how this works out. I personally prefer Hawks' lineup because it's just a bit easier to operate and it's a bit more common. And it's got some very powerful picks in the K'Sante and the Kai'Sa. But we'll have to see. Fennel have got a draft that they quite like themselves, so we'll have to see what they can do with it. It's also worth saying, if you ever learn Japanese and you want to watch LJL, make sure you watch games with these two beautiful, beautiful boys casting. Egan and Recruit are two of the best casters in the world, in my opinion. I don't cast anything like them because I'm doing both parts and I don't speak good enough Japanese. But they are just so funny when they cast. If you're like just learning Japanese, I really recommend watching their casts. Really, really good. Anyway, I know this is kind of irrelevant right now. It just crossed my mind because I was watching this top lane battle between Kinato and Tana. If you watch the stream, my stream post LEC yesterday, where I just did a quick summary of the games, you'd have heard that I mentioned that I thought Evie looked a lot better in this series when Heretics took on Koi, and I really think that he sort of shows just how Japan plays its top laners. Like even when they're on like theoretical carries like the K'Sante, the Vlad, like they're still very much a supportive role. They do get left on an island quite a bit, and it must have taken a while for Evie to adapt to that. And you can really begin to understand that. We're gonna probably get a fight here. Top lane for Flannel's gonna be late arriving as Corporal engages in on the Ahri. Ahri goes down very, very quickly, but the response from Hawks is very, very proficient. They kept down the Ahri in response. It's 1-for-1. Hachimesh is on blank though. That could be a quick kill. It actually turns the other way as Hachimesh is the one who dies. The Sante's traded for the Zeri. Vista on Corporal means that Corporal's going to go down to Marble. Tana going to chase after Vista. He flashes over but gets killed anyway. It's going to be Tana versus Marble and the Vi. The Vi misses his shot, and it's going to be Vladimir who gets the Kai'Sa. Really nicely played. That's 4-for-4 from both teams there. I was a little bit distracted and then I couldn't speak, so apologies for the shit cast of that event. That was awful. But yeah, as we go into live now, you can see that there's not going to be too much advantage taken that, and that's leaves Drake score at 1-1. It's annoying that we're still getting a replay because we might be getting a fight around Rift Herald here in a second. There's 5 seconds left until it comes up. I know I'm now covering the timer, but it's better than covering where they have the replays. I will try and find a better place to sit. Maybe I might move the camera into the top right corner, or I might just move it to cover this, and then people don't really care because we already know what champions are being played. But we'll talk about that in a minute as we set up for the Rift Herald here. Hook straight on to the Rakan. Rakan caught out, but as the charm lands onto Tana, Tana's going to have to pop his blood bubble, and he's now very, very weak. Kinato getting a lot of damage onto Recap as Fennel turns to turn onto Kinato. He's turned out quite a lot. They're probably going to secure the Rift Herald here as Hawks do choose to back up. They're going to go for a different angle of engagement by the looks of things. Herald is going to go down here as Corporal engages onto Vista. Kinato manages to hit Corporal over the wall and does a lot of damage. Marble caught out by Hechametra. That's going to be a lot of damage from Hawks done and out of the way. So Marble's forced to flee. Tanner does pick up the Rift Herald Eye, but he's going to get caught and he's going to probably go down here very, very weak as Nocturne goes down. Ssol is going to isolate Vista as Dasher looks to try and cover him. Could be a good knock-up from Vista, and that sets up the kill for Dasher. On the other side of the fight, I don't know what's happening. It looks like Kinato's given up tracing Tanner. Nicely done by both teams, really, as Fennel take a losing fight but manage to secure the Herald for themselves. If you look down in the bottom corner, we can see that Tanner looks to be caught out here. Dasher uses a lot of abilities to try and slow him down. He goes and pops into his blood bubble. He's going to be knocked down very weak by the Vi, and that's going to be an easy kill. But the Rakan looks to be caught out here. He gets engaged on by the Nocturne as Nocturne pops his ult. Ssol hops over the wall, and that's going to be 1-for-1 and the whole. Probably better for Hawks as they only lose their support for the Fennel's top laner. But still, a good trade from Fennel as they react very quickly. So it looks like we're going to get some setup around Drake here, spawning in 15 seconds. Corporal looking to push Vista off in order to control Vision alongside Hachimetra. There's a bit more space between the Hawks players, which is allowing them to get individually bullied by the duo of Corporal and Hachimetra. the Ahri is still stuck in top lane, but she does have TP, unlike Tana, who has to walk down himself. TP coming in from Ani, so that means that they're going to be a bit less stuck out. Ssol and Hatchet are already starting the Drake, though. They're going to get it down to half pretty quickly. Hinata looking to apply pressure and gain space for the rest of his team. As Blank hops into the Dragon Pit, he's going to start dealing damage to the Dragon here. Dasher still looks to be a little bit caught out. Tana is going to be arriving very, very late, though. Ssol pops his ult as Nocturne manages to get the Drake in all the madness of the setup. Hatchmecha goes on to Blank. Blank is going to go down very, very quickly, but he does trade a lot of damage onto Ssol. He's actually still alive. Ssol goes down he goes down eventually to Ssol. On the other side, Hinata goes down to the Annie, as does Rakan go down to Nocturne, and Marble and Dasher forced to flee. Hatchemecha and Corporal are going to be able to catch out both the players. Dasher is actually slowly able to escape from the Nautilus, but eventually gets caught out by the Nocturne as he turns. Very nicely played. That's going to be a big turning fight as Fennel managed to grab both Drake and an ace. That's going to turn the game on its head. There's suddenly 1k gold lead and a Drake up, and they've got a few more minutes to do whatever, about half a minute, and to do whatever hell they want, whilst they have Rift Herald and the team pushing. They're going to get 2 towers off of that as well. That's really nicely played. So I was focusing initially on the bottom side of the fight, so this time let's look at what happened on the top side of the fight. Because I was just focusing on Drake. We will have to I'm going to keep an eye on Hatchmecha specifically, because I want to see how he got hold of Drake. I can't obviously see Drake damage, which is annoying. It just looks like he was able to get... He wasn't even a smite by the looks of things. Very unfortunate. So how does Kinati get picked off here? So he follows up on Vista going in for the engage. Really nice. Tanner and Recap are very, very weak. He then continues to follow through onto Corporal, and Corporal is able to do a decent amount of damage to Recap, and Recap's R. And then, because on the other side of the fight, Fennel also were able to get wins, it just leaves Marble and Dasher to flee. Very unfortunate, really, for Fennel, for Hawks there. I don't know why I was going to say Fennel. Very unfortunate for Hawks. This game's been really interesting so far. Hawks have been able to catch up on the gold deficit that they had a little bit. It's still at roughly a K, but the fact that they've been able to catch up even a little bit is really nice to see. Looks like they're going to be setting up for a fight around Baron now. With 1 minute 20 until the Chemtech Drake comes up, it's probably an opportune time to fight for Baron, because if you lose, you've still got another time to fight. If I was Hawks, though, I probably wouldn't be taking this fight. You're a little too far behind us. Corporal manages to engage on Vista, but he's forced to turn and flee. The charm lands onto Corporal. He's now the rest of Fennel comes in to join him. Ssol finds himself doing a lot of damage to Kinatu as the Vi goes down on the other side of the fight. Kinatu's caught isolated and alone, and he goes down as well. That's a 2-0 in the favour of Fennel, and that's going to be a Baron. Really nicely done. I found it a bit weird that Kinatu found himself on his own. It seemed a bit disorientated in the fight there from the rest of the team. We'll have to see, hopefully on a replay, what happened, because a bit weird. Normally Hawks are a lot more coordinated than that in team fights, so maybe something's gone wrong, maybe it's just the pressure, because this is their biggest game so far of the season. Let's have a quick look. So, obviously they're playing in the Fog of War. Very nicely done to try and avoid any vision. So as Vista steps up, we know that Corporal lands a hook. Bit of a, I guess, optimistic hook. And then saying Hawks look to re-engage. Hinatu's already coming from the other side of the fight, and he sort of gets stuck engaging onto Corporal and Recap as the rest of the team chooses to commit onto Tana, but Hachimecha comes in and does so much damage that takes out Blank that it's basically game over from that point, as Kinatu's forced to just die on his own. He's not forced to, but he wanders off on his own, continuing to focus on the same target. Hachimecha's dived in really aggressively here. He's forced to burn the stopwatch and flash, but he's very, very weak. Corporal also going down very, very quickly as he chose to follow up what Hachimecha went for. Blank is right there in the enemy team's face. He doesn't get any. He's just managed to tank a lot of damage and a lot of stuff. Whilst Marble and Blank go down now, and rest of the team's health bars, apart from dashes on Hawks, are very, very low. They did manage to do a lot of damage to individual targets, but their target priority, again, not very good. And that has been a theme of LJL this week, especially Cross Gaming and Hawks so far. I did mention yesterday that is one of the big differences between LJL and some of the regions above them, is that they're just really poor at target priority at times, and it's showing here again in another critical game. We'll see if they can improve that as the playoffs go on, I guess. Tana looks to be a little bit Tana looks to be a little bit caught out here, but it looks like the rest of the team's going to look to cover. Hopefully he should be alright. Obviously, God, Blank's taking a lot of damage after going in with his ult, and so is Vista. They just seem to be really, really squishy relative to the opponents. Recap should be going down here eventually, but Marble dives in. Marble's actually going to be the first one to go down again, and it's just going to be a wipe. That is crazy. Didn't even have Corporal at any point in that fight. That was very tragic, to be honest. That should be the game. They've got plenty of time left on the plenty of time left on the respawn timers, and especially with Annie's little bear coming in, it should be really easy for them to get kills, get the tower and the base. That's a bit of an anticlimactic end to a game that was fairly competitive to start off with, as Vista's going to be forced to hold off with just Blank as aid, and there's absolutely nothing they can do. It's not even worth them trying to go in. They might as well just save the KD. That is game 1 in the books, and Fennel wins. So as we begin to slide into draft, interestingly enough, I just found out that Hawks had side selection for first game, even though I thought they were technically the lowest seed. They went for blue side, and again, I think they're going for blue side in this map. I wonder what they'll change. I imagine they'll still have similar priority, getting Marble a decent pick, potentially something that they can flex. They've banned the Nocturne, which is decent response to previous game. I guess they just don't want to have to deal with that again, as Hatchemecha did look very, very good on it. I'd expect them to probably take an ADC away, take something strong that they don't want to deal with, and see what Fennel actually want to do as a response. I expect this will be another power pick, because on red side you just want to get rid of those, you don't want to have to deal with anything that you don't think you can counter. I expect it's going to be either the Nico or the Kaiser. I think Nico is probably more likely. Marble's hair looks really crazy in this image, by the way. Marble being this boy, this beautiful boy, former V3 graduate, I guess. Bit of an icon. One of my favourite AD carries in the world at the moment. So hopefully he can put out another good performance. Looks like he's going to be putting out a game on Kaiser again as they lock it in. Very unlikely that Dasher plays it. I mean, I did mention in the last game that he does play it quite a bit, but I feel like it's more likely Marble's going to pick it up. I feel like Dasher's going to be playing more conventional mid lanes in this series after watching that first game. Vi has got a very high priority yet again. Rumble getting through this time in the first round of picks, or getting picked up in the first round of picks. I can't remember where he was. I think he might have been banned in the last game, so that's kind of nice. I expect Hawks might just lock in like 3 power picks here. I don't know why. I think that's going to be the way they're going to go for it this time, rather than looking to delay their power picks and then like work around it. They might just look to lock in. And here they're highlighting to go for both solo lanes. When I said power picks, I was expecting something like I was expecting the Jax. To be fair, I think Kinatu looked a bit out of sorts on the Cassante, so I think they needed to lock something that he's very solid on first. I wasn't really expecting them to go for anything like Azir. I still think they might switch to Maokai or something like that. It's going to be the Azir. I feel like that's a little odd. It's not Dash's most prolific champion. He played that in the last game. But it is a strong pick. It just leaves you very open to counter picks, because I guess the Jax is a response into Rumble, theoretically. But now Fennel can counter everything they want to. They just decide which one they don't want to see face bans from, whether that be mid or ADC. I personally choose your mid here because your ADC has a relatively deeper pool in terms of the current meta. Actually, maybe not. I'd probably go ADC, actually, thinking about it, because there's just fewer picks. So there's a higher chance of you getting banned out. They go for the Ari, though. Perfectly fine, I think. It's a decent response in lane. It works well with your Vi. Neither really work that well with your Rumble, but I think it's alright overall. You know that your enemy team's going to be looking to go into you mostly because of the picks so far. So I think that's fine, because you're sort of charging in to meet them / running away. As Vi and as Ari. I expect this to be 2 ADC bans coming out of Hawks. There's the first one, very nice strong one. I expect the other one to be Xayah. This will probably be another jungle ban from Fennel, because they do like to reduce the number of picks that their enemy jungler can pick up, especially as they've already picked up their own. Makes perfect sense. I expect it'll probably be... could be Poppy. Personally, I don't know if I would go Power Poppy. I'd probably ban Maokai, to be honest. Maokai just feels stronger to me. But maybe you don't want to risk her against the dashes of the Ari and Vi, and they do go Poppy. There you go. As I said, I expect this ban will be Xayah because it's going to be an ADC ban, and there's no real reason to ban any other ADCs. You're not afraid of Ssol's Ashe particularly, I don't think. I don't think you're afraid of him picking out something weirder like Ziggs or Kog'Maw, especially in this team comp. You've picked out banned out two of the safest options from Fennel. Weirdly, Rel has fallen quite a bit in the prio of this game. I don't think she was that low in the prio yesterday. I'm just going to check to see if that is the case or not, because I've got a very shit memory. I think Ashe is going to be picked up because Ssol does like the Ashe. There we go, beautiful. There's the Ashe pickup. This could be anything. I expect it to be a strong jungle pick, and then probably Nautilus just for going in. Could be Maokai, as I was talking about him earlier. No, okay, Rel also had a low prio yesterday. She's just got a low prio. Oh no, she got banned both times last time. So actually, she's not that low prio in LJL. And I haven't got stats for game 3 because I'm too slow, and I need to do that tomorrow and tonight, even after this game. So Maokai pickup, I expect this will probably be a Nautilus pickup. I don't see much point in going for something that Vista doesn't play as often. It could theoretically be a Rakan again, but I feel like he's better off just going for the Nautilus. Don't really know what Fennel will want here. Their team comp is a bit weird. Okay, they're going to go for Rel. Rel is a strong pick, and she does follow up quite nicely on what Ari and Vi want to do. She does mean that Ashe and Rumble can be left a bit isolated at times in fights, but I'm sure that they can deal with that. Tana and Ssol, two very skilled players. I expect that they'll be fine. For those outside of the league who don't know, we might as well go through the imports for this game, I guess. So you know what you're expecting. Tana and Ssol are the two imports on Fennel, and then Blank, Dasher, and Vista on Hawks are all Korean. I don't know which ones qualify for imports, which one doesn't qualify for import status. I'll just quickly check that. Sorry, I'm very, very slow. It is Dasher. I thought it might be. He has been in the league for a while. He's been. He was there back in Unsold Stuff Gaming, which doesn't even exist as Unsold Stuff Gaming anymore. They're now Donuts, and they don't play League of Legends anymore. So that was 2019 for those that are wondering, and he's been in the league since then. He's been on Hawks since December 2019, which just sort of shows you he was a top laner for them for a period of time, but he is a experienced mid laner who is former iGaming star and ES Sharks player in Korea. So he's been around a while. Which is why I thought he might have... He always gives off the vibes of a very much an LJL player. There's no way... He's one of the players that could never go back to LCK. It was like Vista and Ssol probably could if they spent enough time with an LCK Challenger team or something like that. They probably could make it back. Anyway, let's get into the game. Hatchimesh's is looking to set up a gank in the top lane alongside Recap as well. Kinatu's not been playing very well in this particular game. He's tanked way too many tower shots early on, which meant he couldn't actually compound the advantage he had in the early lane game. And he's going to tank a Charm, and he's going to be taken down very quickly by the 3 players at Fennel. Vi's going to be the one to take the kill. I guess it doesn't matter too much because all 3 of them can take gold quite nicely in this team comp. And Tanner's going to pick up a load just from extra tower plates and stuff like that. So nicely done. On the other side, Vista and Marvel are looking to get a bit of damage down on Corp and Ssol, but I don't think they're going to be able to do too much. But yeah, nicely executed dive against a struggling player on Hawks. Really well done. Ooh, it looks like Blank might be able to just get this Herald without any contest. It's a bit weird in LJL. Very rare that people don't contest Herald. But it looks like there's now going to be movement from Hatchimecha and Recap, as Kinatu also moves down. He's going to be flanked by Tana. Dash is going to look to engage onto Recap. Recap forced to flash as 2 players follow him over the wall, and that's going to be a kill onto Recap. Really nicely done by Hawks team. The Herald's going to reset, though, as Corporal, Ssol, Hatchimecha, and Vista all arrive. It's going to be Fennel that take over control of the Herald. It's going to be Ssol who's forced to flash though, and then Hawks choose to turn around onto Corporal. Rumble's ult comes out and does a lot of damage. Blank is very, very weak, as is Kinatu. But Hachimecha goes down first. It's going to be Talon looking to follow up onto Blank. He's going to get the trade back 1-for-1, or 2-for-1 overall in this fight. Vista is arriving. Marble is going to stay down farming in the bot lane. He's just going to keep collecting tower plates. Ari's going to look to match him downstairs, and it's going to be a lot of flashes burnt from Fennel as well. Really well played as a whole from Hawks. They're going to have to abandon the Herald though, and no one's going to be able to claim it. Which means we might be getting a feral Herald fight. Oh my god! Later on in a few minutes, as neither team is able to secure it in this particular skirmish. Corporal is just invading, probably just for vision. Oh no, he's getting followed up by Recap and Hatch, so it looks like they're going to probably try and take the red buff. That arrow is a massive waste, because Ssol could actually come up and make a difference in this fight, as Fennel clearly looked to commit to taking this red buff, committing a lot of resources to it, and actually, as the Azir and Marble are both nearby, that's a brilliant hook from Vista. That's going to be Hachimecha going down for basically nothing. Corporal is very weak as well. He could be caught out on the flank here, especially if someone manages to land a hook. But it looks like Hawks are not going to bother chasing it. It's not deemed worth their while, as Vista looks to be in menace in mid lane and put pressure on Recap. He's not going to do too much though. He's just going to help shepherd around Marble, who's enjoying time in the mid lane against Recap, while Dasher looks to commit in the bot lane against Ssol. They're going to use the Herald here to help Marble out as well. So that's going to be putting my favourite ADC up on gold quite nicely. As he dodges the charm. Really nicely played. Good to see Hawks are finally getting into the game, because they didn't look too confident even around the first Herald fight. So hopefully that seems more. There's going to be more to come. The setup here around Drake's really interesting. There's going to be a deep teleport from Rumble as well as they commit onto Blank. Blank is going to try and trade back damage onto Corporal. The hook lands onto Corporal as well. That's really nicely done. Blank's going to be traded back though, and that's going to be net positive trade for Fennel. Dasher caught on his own. He's managed to trade his own life for that of the Vi. Kinatu sticking alone on the top lane. They keep leaving one player out of the fight, so they keep taking these fights 4v5, and it's really not telling, to be honest. You couldn't really see that Fennel have the extra man, which I guess is really working out for Hawks, because it's allowed them to get a lot more gold onto Kinatu and Marble when they've not invested them in fights. And that's just going to make a massive difference when it comes to the end of the game, as they have two carries with a lot of gold in their back pockets. Really nicely done. Hatchmatch are going to look to place down a wall. He's going to place it directly on Kinatu, quite funny. Really just donating the gold over to Kinatu, not what you want to do to Ajax. You don't want to give him free gold. They're going to... the Hawks going to look to just make sure they can get him allowed to back off. Oh, they're going to commit onto Hatchmatch here. The baseball team going right into it. They're going to get 2 for free pretty much, as the Rel tries to follow up on his teammate. And the rest of the side, on the backside of the fight, they're going to get Ssol as well, as Marble and Vista are able to commit onto the enemy ADC. That's going to be a net win for the baseball side. Hawks doing absolutely everything they can to take this game and E-level up the series. Really nice to see from them. They are playing very well at the moment. Really nice. As well as saying, I don't really think this is a good meta for Japanese ADCs at the moment. Like, Japan has some very good ADCs towards the top end, but I really don't think they should be playing Kai'Sa too much. I think when they play on like champs like Kai'Sa and Samira, apart from Honey, who didn't look great for Cross Gaming Act, I do think that they look a bit out of place when they're diving into enemy teams. They look much more comfortable on like your Jinxes, your Zerries, who they're not really sitting at range, but they're not going in straight in the middle of the enemy team as much. They don't have the ability. They don't have the ability to do what Kai'Sa can do, where she just literally jumps at the guy at the back of the enemy team fight. Like, yeah, it's a bit. I do look a little worse on them. So hopefully for Japan, the meta changes before Worlds. Although I don't think it would make that much difference, because let's be honest, Japan is not one of the top regions at the moment. Hopefully, that could change one day. We'll have to see though. For now, they're just going to keep importing as many Koreans as they can, and maybe one day when you get 5 Korean teams like you do in NA, maybe they'll be competitive. That's never going to happen, because Japan's got too much pride for that. They're not American. Blank could get caught out here. Corporal's going to use his Hextech Flash, and he's going to be followed up by Hatchmetra as well. He's going to get bonked. He's going to get Maokai ulted as well. Or he's going to use his Maokai ult even. He's going to go down though. He's definitely going down. He's going to waste his flash for no reason. Recap's going to catch out Dasher as well, because Dasher doesn't have the ability to go over the wall at that moment. So Dasher's going to go down, and Recap's going to follow up onto Marble. He's probably going to get Marble here. Marble flashes away. On the other side of the flash, Kinata goes in to try and save Vista, but it might just doom both of them. Marble did manage to make it away on the other side of the fight as Vista goes down here. Hachimesh is forced to flash away from Kinata because Kinata's doing a lot of damage on that Jace. He manages to get one back. That's 1 for 4. Oh, no, 1 for 3 even. Kinata's still able to run away. He might be able to make it, to be honest. He's going to get flash coming up. He's going to flash back in. Weirdly enough, he did try and go for the recap to try and get one back, which would have been a 3 for 2. It ends up as a 4 for 1, though, as that Doom flash does not pay off. And that could doom Hawks in this game. The first time where they've looked properly competitive in this series, or the better team actually in this series. And they might have just thrown it all away trying to save blank. Korean Imports clearly dooming their own team, just like FlyQuest. I've just seen in chat that someone asked if I have a prediction for this series. I don't think I actually gave one. I think I just said I hope to go to 5 games. My prediction is probably that Hawks win this. I mean, they did lose the best of 3 series earlier in the season, but they are probably the better team as a whole. Hachimesh is going to get caught out here. He's going to get a lot of damage traded onto him. He's just going to get killed for absolutely nothing. Tanner's going to end up very weak as well. He's going to get caught in this Maokai out unless he flashes. He managed to flash, but Ssol has to flash as well. That's 2 important flashes gone from the side of Fennel. As another player goes down, Corporal trying to help save the rest of his team. Oh my god, I cannot get my words out still. Clearly casting is not the job for me. I mean, I don't want to be a caster. I just want to watch these for fun and have shits and giggles, basically. And that's the third Drake for Hawks. After throwing away earlier, they are now looking back in the driving seat. Marble's still got his beautiful concentrating face on, with his mouth wide open and his hair looking crazy as ever. To be fair, when my hair looks best, it looks not that different, so I'm not going to judge too much because I love it. That's why he's my favourite player, totally. It's going to be a good setup for Baron here. Corporal looking to gain vision. Dash is going to commit onto him. He's going to use the Azir ult. That should be Corporal going down as the rest of the team tries to follow up and save him. Ssol gets his first good Ashe ult off, but it doesn't really affect anything as Corporal still goes down. Blank going to look to follow up onto Recap. It's going to be Recap if they target first. Marble uses his ult to follow up, and he's going to go after Recap. Kinata hops over the wall. That's going to be Ssol going down. That's 2 critical players gone down as the bot lane for Fennel is completely wiped out, and that should be a Baron for Hawks. I do feel like Japan kind of has the same issue that like NA does, where if someone gets caught out, and EU does this as well, actually all regions do this as well, but to different degrees. NA does it the most, and NA really gets on my nerves sometimes when they do it. We do need to watch for the fight and see if what happens as Rumble uses his ult. It's going to be Kinata looking to get caught out here. Gets charmed by the RE, but Dash is going to look to try and cover him. Dash has been Recap's been chunked out quite a bit. So Hatch mentioned manages to get in the pitch. He might be able to steal this, but no. The team focuses him down. He does die after the Baron, but he's not able to do anything to contest the Baron really. As Dash is going to focus down Tanner, but Tanner's going to almost win the fight. He forces Dash to use his flash to get the kill in the end. Recap's got killed over the wall by Blank, and another Ashe out comes out to do nothing. Really, Ssol, stop wasting them, babes. You're a good player. You're better than those Ashe outs. But what I was saying is, like, Japan does have this issue where if a player dies because they get caught out or whatever, the rest of the team regularly overcommits to try and make up for that loss. Try and commit and make that loss like worthwhile. NA does it the most, but as I was saying, every region sort of does it. And they don't regularly go for cross maps. DFM are very good at going for cross maps. Hawks, within the region anyway, they sort of stop doing it when they go international for whatever reason, which really annoys me. Hawks are not bad at doing it. They definitely will do it against like opposition like Burning Core, Axes, or whatever. Actually, no, I say that. They won't do it against like Axes or V3 because they just know that even if they're like 4 men versus even if like 3 men versus 5, they probably win the fight anyway. But when they're against Burning Core, they're pretty good at. In the series against Burning Core anyway. They were pretty good at cross mapping, and they've been doing that for most of the year. They're going to look to siege onto base. Recap's going to be caught out of a hook. Blank's going to look to commit in with his ult, and that's Recap just down very, very quickly. Vi uses his ult to commit onto Blank, but he chooses to flash over the wall after getting chunked down to just over a quarter HP. This should be a tower going down, as there's very little Fennel can do to contest it. Hawks should get the inhib as well. They're going to look to. They're pushing out the mid lane with Kinatu to try and get that mid tower as well. That probably will be the mid inhibitor that goes down with it as long as they commit properly. Kinatu's actually going to leave mid lane. They might be looking to switch onto Hachimecha here. Hachimecha is going to be dove on. He's just going to have to lead them away and try and lead them on a wild goose chase. It's only going to be Kinatu who follows, so it's not going to be really worth it, as that's going to still be the mid tower going down. That's mid T3. Mid inhibitor also going to go down with it, and that could be the start of the end for Fennel. I mean, the start of the end happened a while ago. Hatchmatch is still not willing to back. He's going to grab the red buff instead. I don't think that's really worthwhile. You're going to just lose your red side jungle for exchange. I mean, there's no red side buff for Hawks to pick up on the other side, but Recap is going to be caught. Oh, well, Recap, Ssol, and Corporal looking to commit onto Dasher and Blank. Recap very weak. He needs to watch out and not be careful. Dash is also very weak, though. He's going to commit the ult onto Ssol, and that's going to be Ssol going down. Hatchmecha, though, going to catch out on the flank, and that's going to be Blank and Dasher going down. But on the other side of the flank, Kiatu manages to catch out one more, which is... I didn't even see it. It must have been Recap, and that's a 2 for 2 in the end, so not really worth it for Fennel, as they're the ones who really initiated it. I guess they are still trying to trade back from behind as they're now 10k gold down. I do think, though, it's going to be... They're going to risk losing topside stuff because they cannot still win this. They still can't win this 3v3. I expect Marble and Kinatu to output a lot more damage than the rest of the three who are up for Fennel. The only blessing for Fennel is that Ssol will be up next very, very quickly. So that's a good sign. They'll be able to hold off in the 4v4 as Blank and Dasher will come up sometime after Recap even. But Marble's going to be able to get Ssol for free, and that's just a result of that fight. I guess that's nice for Hawks and pretty bad for Fennel. RIP Fennel in this game, I guess. Looks like Hawks are going to try and finish from top side. Kinatu looking to push in the lane on his own, waiting for the rest of the team to try and catch up, who are currently pushing down mid. It should be safe as Tana's currently stuck in top lane, but Kinatu's going to be collapsed on by the 4 members of Fennel. He's going to burn his stopwatch, but he's going to get charmed. He's going to look to dive in on Corporal. But Corporal manages to use Magnet Storm, though, and that's going to be Kinatu going down. But as the rest of the team looks to commit, they're going to burn Malkite ult, and in response, Fennel going to use lots of flashes. That's 3 members of Fennel down. Tana and Ssol going to be quick to follow them as Tana goes down. Ssol goes down very, very quickly. Tana going to look to retreat to the fountain, but that's going to trade the base for his life. That's a really good game for Hawks. Decent game from Hawks. And Fennel going to have to look to recover in game 3. Fennel going to have side selection again, so it'll be interesting to see whether they go for red side again or whether they choose to take blue side from Hawks. It does seem to be that there is sort of an agreement that Hawks seem to think that blue side is better and Fennel seem to think red side is better. But we'll have to see. It could be quite an interesting choice if they decide to go blue side this time around, as Hawks will be without the Kaiser Crutch theoretically, as they've been first picking her every time. As we lead up to the draft for Game 3, it'll be interesting to see how the two teams choose to adapt their style of play and what they choose to do, what they choose to do in terms of adaptations for strategy, especially in the draft, as the drafts so far have been relatively similar. It's worth saying the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 was that Hawks looked better in their team fighting, looked more awake. Fennel have chosen to go red side again, so it looks like there is that acceptance that for Fennel, red side agreement that Fennel think that red side's better, and Hawks think that blue side's better. We get the same 3 opening bans from the same 6 opening bans from last game as well, so that's kind of interesting. I expect this first pick to be Kaiser, as it has been in every other game. There we go. I'm surprised Fennel don't want to stop banning it, but they do have a very consistent 1, 2, 3 bans. This time they pick up the Azir Poppy, so clearly they've got a clear idea about what they want to do this game. I guess the Poppy is a very good pick into Kaiser. Kaiser was an issue a bit last game. A Jace pickup for Hawks would be interesting, because I don't really think Dasher plays it that much, and I don't think it's really a Kinatu style champ, so be interesting to see. If Hawks follow what they did last time, they'll be picking their other laner in this round. So it could be a Jax, in which case that means Jace would be going mid. I don't remember the last time I saw Dasher play mid. Might be more recent than I think, though. So I'll have to see. I expect Fennel to follow the same pick order that they did last time, in which case they will be locking in the ADC. If I was going to say ADCs... No, that wasn't the same as last time, actually. Ignore me. But I do think they're locking the ADC. I expect it to be something safe. Felios would fit that bill of something safe. I expect strong jungle bans. Probably, I was going to say Meiji jungles, but what I mean is your Maokais, your Ivans, your that sort of champion, I guess. For Hawks, I guess they'll want to ban probably supports. Vista has got a deeper pool than Corporal and is a better support player than Corporal, so that would be your expectations, but I don't know whether that will actually end up being the case. I guess for Fennel, it's, as I said, it's going to be jungle bans. They're going to be looking to pick up a support and a probably top laner rather than a jungler. Could be though, could be a jungler. It could be a support. It's gonna be a support and then either a top or a jungler. I imagine it's probably a top laner. Poppy is quite a matchup pick. I've seen him play it quite a few times. The Emilio band's a little bit interesting. She doesn't get a lot of play out in Japan. I actually couldn't tell you the last time she was picked. Let's actually have a look. I'm actually looking directly at the Leaguepedia website to see. She's been banned twice. Across. Oh no, she's been banned. This is the first time she's been banned in playoffs. I'm just blind. And then in summer season, let's see if I can find any presence of her. Has she actually been picked once? Oh, she's been banned every so often. She's been picked a couple of times. Most notably, actually, she got picked once between Fennel and Hawks, where Hawks got to pick her, and Hawks actually won that game and then went on to lose the series 2-1. So that's her most important presence. Fennel also played her once against Burning Core in a must-win game 3. So clearly, these two teams are Armilio players for the league, actually, but the fact that she's not been picked very much is very telling. Japan does not like its new champions, I'm going to be honest. I do like that pickup. Oh, do I like that pickup? Of SHG, actually? I don't know if I do. It depends, I guess, on what you pair it up with. I'm expecting something like something tanky. Nautilus is probably what I'd go for personally, but obviously that's been picked up. So they go the Alistair. Similar idea, I guess. Obviously can't hook. I don't know whether the hook's not really the most important part of that though. The tankiness is probably the most important part. Leona wouldn't be a selection here. Rumble is not a bad pickup again. Picked up in the last game as well, and Tanner has been fairly solid on the Rumble, and that's how the draft is going to look. If I had to favourite a draft over the other, I would probably favour Fennel's for ease of execution and the fact that I haven't seen Dasher play Jace, and I don't feel like it's him kind of champ. Maybe it is. We'll get to see then. Let's enjoy it as it comes. I do favour though Hawks still for this game. I think in general I favour Hawks for every game. I've just realised my camera's been in the way this entire time. That's a L. But we all knew that was Kaiser anyway, so who cares? And we'll get into the game. See you in that. My god, the AI is so much more even than it was for DFM versus versus Crast. For DFM Crast, it was like 80% most times, and this game it's 50-50. Jeez, that's so close. The AI is quite often correct, but only because it like takes the win rates of like players, and like in Japan, like your win rate is high, your team is probably winning. That's obvious. If your win rate's high, of course your team's winning. But like, it's very rare for high win rate teams to drop games against low win rate teams, and even to the point of higher win rate versus slightly lower but still high win rate. It's still quite the case. It's quite a fixed seed league, I guess you could say. I'm gonna say this right here, right now. There's gonna be a game 4 and game 5. I reckon by game 5 I'll be able to predict if there is a game 5, which I think there will be, I'll be able to predict every single pick ban. I think the teams are that predictable. If I get all but one right, or all of them correct, but with the exception of getting one wrong, because Japan does love to throw like one random pickle ban, like Hawks could end up banning Kaiser if they're on blue side, for example, even though they turf their first pick every fucking time. Did they just burn Flash? No, they didn't burn Flash. I'm seeing things. So if I can do that, I don't know what, I'll do something for the channel. keep an eye out for that if I do. We'll see. So we're almost certainly going to get our opening fight around Herald, as we always do. It's going to be Hawks who start up the Herald. There is only ADC movement from Fennel, so they're going to have the 5v4 advantage. As one player gets knocked away, that's going to be a 4v3, a 5v3 advantage technically, but currently a 4v4. It's going to be Fennel who pick up the Herald, but they did lose their jungler in response to it, and the Tanner is forced to flash over the wall, and Ssol wasted his time moving up. Lovely to see for Ssol. I'm glad that he gets to continue the tradition of him wasting his time whilst Marvel gets the free farm in the bot lane. Beautiful. This fight was just very weird, and I really didn't think that they should have got the kill in the way they did. What's the fuck's happening in the top middle lane? Oh my god, switch to the live view. Oh my god, come on, show me the live view. What the fuck did Recap just do? Brother Recap running it down for the boys. He definitely wasted flash. Thank you for telling me that, Observer. I wish I could have seen what happened. What? I saw he went in. I saw he missed his ult. Dash is on full health. He's basically dead. So what the hell did he just do? Especially with Drake coming up, that could be just a free Drake for Hawks. It looks like they're still going to take and test it. We're going to get a replay in the small bottom of the screen, so I'm just going to move myself over like that. So you can see he misses his ult as he dashes in, and he's forced to flash away from the melee queue. Blank's going to hop over and steal Drake as well. It's a comedy of errors for Fennel right now. It looks like Hawk's going to be the one taking the 2-1 lead at the moment. Fennel are all over the place. Actually crazy. And I'm just going to hover back down. It could be crazy. Come on. I'm really enjoying watching Hawks play at the moment. So we're currently in Game 3. Beautiful. We've got 1 minute 38 until second Herald. Surely there's not going to be a fight over it. I feel like if you're Fennel, you sort of just have to give it up. And maybe you look to fight over Ocean Drake if you're really desperate for a fight. I feel like you just look to farm up. I mean, your opponents are on a timer much more than you are. So I feel like you can just get away with it a little bit. And there's only a 1.5k advantage at the moment. 2 Drakes is not a stress, and the second Herald is not worth as much as the first one, and you've already been forced to give up. Well, you got the first one. So I think here, Fennel, you just go, yeah, okay, we take the loss here, and we sack that. Well, it doesn't look like that's what they're going to do. It looks like they're going to set up Vision. They've got 50 seconds before the Herald spawns, so they've got plenty of time to do so. They could just be doing it so that they can see what they can take while sacking it. That's always possible. Bit of a weird investment though. If they do, it's a lot of investment that they've done so far. And they're getting the backs on perfect timing before taking Herald, so it does look like they're going to contest. Which is unfortunate, because I don't think they should be, based on their current strength. With 15 seconds until the Herald, it looks like I was right. It looks like we are going to get a fight here. I think Hawks could get a massive win out of this, potentially like 3 or 4 kills, and Herald, which would be a big deal, especially as they are quite significantly ahead in the gold, are still 1k up. They're going to start the Herald here. It's going to be seen on the Scuttlecrab Vision. It looks like Tana is going to be backing. Oh, no, he's going to be TPing actually towards mid. So that does tell you we're going to get a 5v5 fight as everyone is present. For once, Marble not being left on an island. Corporal is going to be forced to flash away, but in return, Vista is bopped away by the Poppy. Oh, Poppy is going to actually get the Rift Herald. That's going to be a second Rift Herald for Fennel, but Kanatu hops it in on the Jax and is able to get the Nautilus. The ult from Azir, ineffective as the headbutt, does way more damage, and that's a 3-0. Oh my god. Hawks are running away with this game. It's going to be another big game for them, as they are now 2k gold ahead, and they're going to get second Drake as well. That is atrocious for Fennel. That could be the end, to be honest. That could be game. There's always the chance that Hawks do fuck it up, but they don't tend to fuck up leads when they get them in the LJL. They are one of the better teams in the LJL for keeping their leads and running with them. So we'll have to see what happens, but I do think that could be game for Fennel, and they'll have to come back from a 2-1 down. I'm sorry, but I really don't care about this fight right now. I don't think anything's going to happen anyway. But someone in chat just asked me if I was still up, if I stayed up and watched the Chelsea versus Brighton friendly in the US. Oh, Recap's going to go. Ooh, Marble's going to burn Flash, and it's going to be traded back for Stopwatch, but actually, Hachimecha is going to go down as he tries to commit in. Dash is going to take the kill. Corporal is very weak, but Blank's going to go down instead. Kinos is going to be able to hop on, though, or he's actually going to just get Corporal to burn his Q, his Flash, and he's going to trade Flash for Flash, but it's going to be a kill. That's 2 for 1 in favour of Hawks. As the kill score now goes to 6 to 1, and there is still a 4k goal difference. Anyway, so someone asked if I watched fucking Chelsea in the friendly against Brighton, and no, I didn't. I mean, I saw the score. We won 4-3. I mean, I was up at midnight at kickoff, but did you really think I stayed up when I saw the fact that after about 3 minutes, Brighton had scored through Denny Welbeck? I'm not watching us lose to Brighton. I genuinely thought we're going to lose to fucking Brighton again. Poch can't turn the team around that quickly. So the fact we actually won 4-3, and like it was the fact that we fell asleep after we go 4-1 up that meant that we can see the other goals means I really don't care, as Fennel managed to get their first strike. There could be a team fight around this. I don't think there should be, to be honest. I think Fennel should just get out of dodge, to be honest. Even just sack your T1. There's no reason to try and hold it. Dash's Jace is doing about as much damage as mine, which is significantly less than it was doing in the LEC and LJL, to be honest, yesterday. So you know what? That makes me feel a lot better, as his Jace is not as OP as the Q shock blasts were yesterday. But yeah, I know I didn't watch Chelsea. It's good to see that Nicholas Jackson and Nkuku are really performing, though. So hopefully that's good things for the season to come. There will be Chelsea stuff. I have decided, actually, that Chelsea and Luton content will fill the gaps when League isn't happening, and when League is happening, to be honest, I will be talking about it. I won't be covering things like transfers for football, because I feel like that's a bit pointless, as I'm not someone like Fabrizio Romano. Same way I won't be covering transfers in League unless there's like talk or controversy about them, in which case I might touch on one individual transfer, but that will be the same for Chelsea and Luton. Yeah, so that'll be a series called Chelsea Fan Born in Luton, where I'll just be talking every week after Chelsea and Luton have played. And maybe I might talk about Newcastle United as the nearest Prem team to my university, but probably not, because it seems a bit pointless, to be honest. I'll just probably talk about the 2 teams that I actually give a fuck about, rather than becoming a temporarily 3-team man. And someone else, Recap's gone down again. Also, I was distracted. Corporal's gone down as well. Hachimecha's going to have to try and run away. No one's going to be able to chase it after him. On the top side of the map, it looks like Tano is struggling against Blank, which is a bit embarrassing. Does mean that there shouldn't be any reason to stop Hawks getting Baron, other than the fact that Hachimecha has been a bit more on time with his smites and better at stealing than Blank. Though Blank did manage to steal Ocean Drake earlier in this game in a way that was very, very flashy, very, very cool. We'll have to see. Rumble uses his R to try and see what damage is being done. This is going to sacrifice his life for the Baron, though, and that's decently played because it stopped the enemies stopped Fennel getting into the Baron pit. And that's decently done. And that should secure Hawks the game, as if it wasn't already kind of theirs to begin with after their 6-0 lead or whatever it was. Was a good R from Recap, but he forgot that Marble also had the same R, had the R to get back. So, yeah, a bit tragic, to be honest. Recap sort of wasted his R for nothing. And once he goes down, it allows Hawks to just keep committing onto the rest of the Fennel players. So with the Baron power play, it looks like Hawks are going to look to commit towards bot side. Meanwhile, Tanner's going to look for a cross map in the top lane, which is done effectively, taking their T1. Nice bit of standing goal for them. They're going to engage onto Recap. Recap's going to have to burn his stopwatch, but he's going to go down as soon as that pops. Someone's been bopped away, and that's Marble. But in return, Recap's already dead. Hachimecha is going to go down after the flash from Dasher, by the looks of things. And that's going to leave it in a 5-on-3 situation with Corporal very, very low. He's forced to retreat back to tower, to Nexus, and that's going to be a tower going down. It's going to be the Inhib tower. Inhib's going to go as well quickly after. And mid lane, Kinart's going to be taking the mid T3, and then he's going to be taking the inhibitor straight after that. Ssol is very, very weak thanks to a shot blast from from Dasher even. Corporal tries to engage in on Vista, but he's just going to be instantly taken down. Marble doing a lot of damage in that situation. Ssol's just forced to sit on his fountain and farm to regain health. Tana's trying to engage in, but he's going to go down very, very quickly with no trade back. And as recap spawns in, the Nexus is going to go down, and that's a 2-1 lead for Hawks. I imagine that Hawks will probably take this game, take this series, but it will probably be Fennel striking back in the next game, if I had to guess, because these two teams are still very close, even if Hawks did look a lot better in these last 2 games. GG, let's move on to the next. It always strikes me how old the Japanese casting guys are, the Japanese analyst guys are. Always strikes me. Like, there's a guy who's fucking bolded so much. The casting desks are quite example. I feel like the Asian analyst desks are a lot better than the LEC ones. They tend to give a lot more insight. I mean, I don't really speak Japanese well enough to know exactly what they're saying, but it still always feels better. Anyway, I just thought I'd comment on that whilst we were in the break. Normally, I'd have it muted like I do now, but you know, it just kind of struck me as funny for a minute. I was talking about casters earlier, and I mentioned these 2 beautiful boys earlier as well. Jaeger and Recruit. They also did R6 casting, and they were brilliant in that as well. They are just 2 amazing casters. Best, actually, probably in the world in any esports. I mean, there's probably people out there who are better that I don't know of. Obviously, I only speak English, and then I speak a bit of Spanish and Japanese. But, obviously, that's a small number to pick from. I can't obviously pick any of the number of Chinese, Korean casters. But out of my experience, these 2 are my favourites. Let's get into the Game 3 draft, though. It looks like we're going to be picking up the exact same bands that we've had ever since Game 2 onwards. Fennel, in fact, have picked up the same 3 in every game so far, which would mean that this would be, oh my god, brain, not Nico. There we go, Nico band. Just a reminder, the only change that's happened to the bands throughout the entire series is that in the Game 1, Rumble got banned by Hawks. The first 7 lock-ins have been the exact same all series. In Game 1, Hawks banned Rumble as their ban 1, which is no longer banned by them. It's been replaced by Nocturne. And then in Game 1, Hawks banned Nico, which they now ban Zeri instead after Ssol's performance on the Zeri, instead choosing to ban the Zeri. And so the Zir ban that Fennel had initially is now replaced by their Nico ban instead, which means Nico is not getting any game time in this series. Hackswitcher locking in his pick early this time. That's decent. They've not been doing that very much so far in the series. So decent early response. It's going to be a Jace pickup for Tana for the team as well, which could mean that they've taken away a strong pick from the last game that Hawks had. They're going to go for the Zir response, which is the same one Fennel had. I don't like that as a response, to be honest. It doesn't look like, unless you're better on both sides of the matchup, which I don't expect Dasher to be versus Recap, I don't feel like that's a good response. I expect that this could be a top laner, because they've just been picking in their top lanes pretty much every time in this slot. It's a bit weird looking all your carries first and then your supportive players next, but whatever you want to do, I guess. This is going to be probably, I reckon this could be the Rakan. Stops Hawks banning it, stops Hawks picking it up themselves, as Vista is a good player on Rakan, but also Corporal is a very prolific Rakan picker, even if he's not the best player on Rakan. So there we go. I expect Red Side to ban at least 1 support, maybe 2. In which case I might just genuinely prefer their draft. I don't like the Azir into the Jace in this region. I don't like Renekton full stop unless you're going to be playing just as a Q spammer. Sorry, this stun spammer. Is that his Q? I think it's his Q. I don't know why I always doubt myself when it comes to this. So there's a ban of the Rel. I expect they might go for a jungle ban, actually, number 2. Probably something like Seju. Seju is a decent clutch in this region. Decent crutch, even in this region. So that might be the case. The Annie ban's a little out of place. I don't think Tibbers really fits into the Fennel comp, if I'm going to be honest. don't think that who would even be playing it. Tanner and Recap and Corporal have already picked. I doubt that they're going to force Tanner to play Jace, as he's not particularly he's not a bad Jace player, but he doesn't play it very frequently. They might look to pick away something like that. Actually, I'm being stupid. It's not Tanner who doesn't play Jace, it's Recap who doesn't play Jace in his team. So actually, no, they're right on the Annie ban. That's fine, that's me being stupid. The Maokai pickup is clever. The Hawks have been picking it a lot. It's a pick away from Hawks. Also helps with them being a 2 damage threat that's likes a lot of distance in the form of the Jace and the Xayah. The Poppy pickup would be fine, I guess. I personally think it's not the strongest Poppy game, but if you just want Poppy for her outright strength, that's fine. She's not exactly playing into too many dashes though, it's just the Rakan. This is obviously going to be a support pickup unless you're playing Poppy support, which isn't very popular at the moment. Isn't very popular full stop, although I really like it. Probably an Ali pickup. They do quite like Ali as a team. There we go, there's the cow. This might be a control mage. I'm expecting something. No. Are we going to say they're going to be playing... Fennel might be playing a peel comp or something like that, maybe? Potentially. Because Hawks are definitely going to have to be going in on them. Ziggs. Does anyone play Ziggs in Japan? Obviously, it's his first pick in playoffs. I'm wondering whether he's been picked at all in the league regular season. I'm actually just going to look at the team actually instead. Let's look at Fennel and see if Fennel have played him at all. Where is Fennel? Fennel is there. Match history. No, pick ban history. No. They have not played Ziggs previously in summer. They also didn't play him in spring playoffs. And this is Recap playing him, by the way. Just so everyone knows. Yeah, they don't play him very, very regularly. So it'll be interesting to see how Recap performs. Hopefully well. And hopefully we can get a Game 5 and some beautiful silver scrapes. Looks like we're going to be getting the typical first Herald fight again. It looks like Hawks are going to be the one to start up the fight, start up the Herald. Looks like they're going to be looking to, for Fennel, it looks like they're going to be chunking down Vista, but it looks like the engage is going to come onto the Poppy. Poppy's almost gone down. Xayah ult comes out to finish the job, but to trade it back onto the Rakan. That's Jungler for support. Looks like Tanner's going to look to try and connect onto Kinato. That's going to be the Renekton going down very, very slowly, but he's not actually going to go down. It's Hachimetra who's going to go down. It's going to be traded back onto 2 players. Really well done from Hawks. They managed to stop the collapse from Fennel onto their top laner and trade it back onto the 2 Fennel players. And that's going to surely be a herald for Hawks. Really nicely done as they managed to take a 3-1 early kill lead and that translates into a 1k gold lead. Really nice for the blue side team who play baseball. So I just say after all that, Hawks ended up just sacking the fucking Herald after all that fight. And Vista's going to get caught out by Corporal and Ssol, going to be doing damage to him on his own. Kinato's going to look to try and cover, but there's not much he can really do here. It's going to be a 4 versus 2 if he even bothers to commit. So it looks like Kinato and Vesta are going to try and run away. Blanking Dasher over to cover. Marble and Recap are currently going to be left alone to farm in their respective lanes. Could be a good engagement as Blank goes looking to engage on Hachimetra. Hachimetra's going to go down very, very weak all of a sudden. We get the ult from Recap though, and that leaves Blank very, very weak. Corporal's able to escape from the Azir ult. Dasher is going to be 1 HP. Ssol flashes in, and that's Dasher going down. That's an Azir dead. Recap's come across, so it's going to be a 5 versus 4 as a whole. Vista very, very weak. It gets brought down by Recap, and that's 2-0 for Fennel. That's going to bring down the gold gap significantly, especially with the Rift Herald charging in and taking down 2 plates. In fact, the gold's back to being level, but Kinato and Blank are going to be stuck on the wrong side of the towers as Kinato looks to run through top lane. He's going to try and buy time for his Poppy to try and escape. because it looks like Fennel going to give up on the Poppy. She's harder to locate. But that's going to be Kanata going down as well. That's 3-0 in the fight in the end. But Blank's able to take away some jungle, so I guess it's not all lost. Chickens for nothing, you know? And that's the strength of fucking Ziggs as the tower goes down. Really nicely played from by Fennel. Absolutely taking advantage of the strengths of their comp to the fullest. Really well done. If you look at bot side, it looks like there's going to be an invasion of the jungle. It looks like Blank might be collapsed on here. Blank's going to be stuck in a 1v2 for a while here. It's interesting to see how much he can survive, because Dash is coming across, but on the other side, so is Ssol, and Ziggs is quite close by, so it's going to be a 4v4 if both teams choose to move over fully. Actually, TP coming in from Kunyato is going to be a 5v4. Blank is very, very weak, though. He looks like he's probably going to die to Hachimachi here. But the passive shield keeps him alive. Oh my god, really, really nice for him. Hachimachi forces flash away. Kunyato going to commit onto Corporal and onto Recap, and that's going to be both going down. And that's 2-0, and that's going to bring them back into the game slowly. It's still 2k gold down, though. And Tanner's going to be able to 3-farm alone for a little while. He's going to get a shock blast onto this, though. He's going to do a little bit of damage there. That's really, really nice. It's going to be interesting. I think this is the first time since game 1 that Fennel had a lead. So it'd be interesting to see how they convert it. Especially as Hawks aren't making the same mistakes that they did in game 1. It'll be really interesting to see how they do, because they're not doing very well at the moment. They tried to take advantage of the lead that they had in this red buff fight, and they ended up paying for it quite dearly. I don't know what it is about this series, but I think this series is driving me insane. Is Blank wastes his flash to try and get a kill that he's never going to get. It looks like it's just going to get a kill on to Vista. Vista's flashing as well, and that's just going to be another wasted flash, and that's the death of the support. They're going to try and look to trade it back onto Hachimecha, who's slightly isolated from his team. They're going to get that trade back, but they should really be looking to run, because although Corporal's low on health, Blank is as well, and I feel like Fennel would still have the advantage in the fight, and they're going to do exactly as I suggest. They're going to run away. They're going to look to try and hold onto this T1 mid tower. I don't know why I said tower 1 mid tower there. That's a bit embarrassing. But they're going to hold on to it for now. They're going to back off, and they're going to have to just sack the Cloud Drake, but it's fine, because it's only second Drake, and it's only a Cloud 1 at that. Not a big deal. In the end, could have been a much bigger deal. Hawks could have made a massive mistake there, but they got away with it in the end. This game is unironically driving me crazy. The amount these two teams will want to engage for absolutely no reason. They'll just like charge in with Ricano and do nothing, or they'll like headbutt. They'll try and get a headbutt off of one guy who's in the middle of like four enemies, and it's just like, what are you doing? There's no chance of getting a kill. In fact, there's a high chance of you dying from this action than there is of you getting a kill. It's genuinely driving me insane, but nothing ends up happening. So I doubt a lot of it will be in the video, because it will just be me going, oh, guy goes in for headbutt, oh, yay, nothing happened. I mean, this is fine, this is just trading, and Tanner's got the massive advantage here, Tanner's got the massive advantage here. But like, it's happening so much. I don't know what it is. It's this game specifically. It's not most of the rest of the series has been alright. This game's been absolutely insane. So even things like, what was that? Fucking Hextech Flash? That engages fine. Sets up the ult, that's fine. Marble is very, very weak. They're going to take him basically out of the fight. The ult from Zydira is a bit wasteful, to be honest. Marble's still kind of out of the fight, to be honest. He's only able to poke onto Corporal. Corporal is very, very weak, but Marble's very weak as well. They're going to get the Zyd and the Rakan. Oh my god, Ginatu doing bits in that fight there. There's not too much that Hawks can look to get off of it anymore. They might be able to transfer it into a Baron, but they're going to have to back first, which means they probably won't be able to, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm actually getting into this again now, which is very nice. That was a good fight. Got me back into it. Still, it was a bit weird. There was some wasteful things that Zaya, oh, what on earth was Ssol trying to achieve? I know I know what he's trying to achieve. He's trying to get more damage, but it's never going to work. I was never going to get anything. It was just getting rid of one of your escape options. I'm not really sure why Hawks are feeling so threatened here. They've won the last couple of fights. I mean, obviously you don't have a lot to go on in terms of stats, but surely you've got to feel strong enough that you don't need to just get bullied into losing your T2 in bot. I mean, I don't think fighting would be the right option, but like, why? I don't get why they feel so bullied there, and why they made the right decision. Maybe they know something I don't. I mean, because if you look at the stats that they can see, like, surely you think you've got the advantage, because you've got apart from towers, you have, in terms of stats you can see. Oh, jokes, actually. But you've got a higher kill score, CS across the board's better. So why are you getting bullied? How do you know that you can get bullied? I guess item strength? Did they look at... because I'm not really looking at items. Yeah, okay, no, maybe that's why, actually. There's a lot more completed items, second items on Fennel. So maybe actually they saw that and went, okay, we're not going to take a real fight. So fair enough, actually. I'm wrong. I'm in the wrong there. My bad. I should be paying more attention to things like items. Because that is another stat you can see, and that's more telling. Blank wastes his flash there. I guess if it had landed, he probably would have been followed up on and killed. So I guess it's not actually a waste. But it is burnt, and that could lead to a Baron here. It's going to be very difficult for Hawks to fight it, and Vista already very weak, and he burnt his flash there and his ult, so he's probably going to get taken down by Recap. In the other side, Kinati's really struggling. He's going to get taken down. I didn't even see Dasher went down. Oh my god, that's a 3-0 in favour of Fennel, and that could be the game. See, I was commending them for not taking the fight earlier after I made the mistake. Or I was about to say, yeah, they made the right decision. That was really well done for not taking the fight, because they're actually weaker, and you can see that in terms of items completed. And then they took that fight. So I don't know. Maybe they're just dumb. I don't know. What can you even say? Very confusing. Since that last fight, where Hawks opted into it after I praised them for not opting into it, the after one, they've really fucking struggled. Fennel have really been able to just take advantages all over the map. And some of that's coming from the zigs, some of that's coming from just generally being ahead, being able to bully your opponents when they can't take fights. Honestly, Fennel could probably end this game whenever they wanted to. As long as they didn't mess up in the way they took the fight, they could probably just end it. So it'll be interesting to see when they actually eventually do. It'll probably come around this Baron fight in 50 seconds. Or just when they catch out Vista and Kinatu like they did there. Marble's going to look to hop in, but Marble's just left on his own by doing that. He's gone. That's a silly decision for him. Uncharacteristic mistakes coming out of him in this series so far. Blank's going to sacrifice himself to save Vista and Dasher. He might even be able to make it out himself. I highly doubt it, though. He has got flash if he really tried to get out, but no, he's going to go down. And that's going to leave Dasher and Vista to survive for Hawks. That's 2 of the 3 Koreans staying up for them. But that's it's a 3-0, 5 men staying up versus 2. And that's going to be very useful for Fennel, who are going to continue to push their advantage as it grows to 7k. Really nice for them. Big juicy lead, and they're going to grab Baron as well. And that should be game. Looks like they're going to look to end the game through the bot lane here. Vista looks to try and connect with a headbutt, and it's going to leave his team to go in before Kinatu can even get there to help out as well. That's 2 players gone down. Oh no, it's only 1 player going down, but it's 2 now. Might as well have been 2 straight from the start, and Kinatu's going to go down as well very quickly. Marble as well is going to follow, and that's 4 players down. It's just going to be Vista left to protect the base. It's not going to happen. That's going to be game. That's going to bring us to 2-2, and that's going to bring up Silver Scrapes. And that is going to be big. Any team could win it from here. Hawks looked a bit lost in this game file as well, but Fennel looked a lot better. Going to be honest and say, Game 1, Hawks looked lost. Game 2, Hawks, and Game 2 and 3, Hawks looked really, really good. Game 4, Hawks looked lost again, but Fennel had also stepped up their game. And that's going to bring up an exciting Game 5. Hopefully we can see a good end to this series as the winner goes to progress against DFM, whilst the winner gets to face the winner of V3 Sengoku, which should be Sengoku, who are a very, very strong opposition. So hopefully we'll see a good team put up a good fight to avoid that fight against Sengoku. So yeah, for this draft, I'm going to try and predict all the games, and hopefully we can predict all the points. Okay, so we've already got 4 bans out. They're the same as previously. That's the Nocturne and the Kennen against the Trist and the LeBlanc. That's going to be a Nico final ban. They just banned Kaiser. I didn't have time to pick that. I didn't have time to select that. I would not have got that. So I'm rogue straight out the gates because I would not have ever said that. I'd have said that it was been Nazari again. Let's see what gets picked first. It cannot be Kaiser now, so I'm going to say Jace. Let me move my thing out of the way. It was Jace. I did say that a bit late. That is my bad. We'll stick myself back here. Pick number 1. Fuck. I might just pause the stream. Pause everything. So I paused the live stream so that I didn't have to see it whilst I was trying to make up my mind. I'm going to say it's going to be Zaya. I think they're going to go back to the Zaya because Ssol had a good game. I think they're going to pick up the Rakan this time with the Zaya so that they don't have to, because they don't have the Jace to pick up instead. So they haven't got anything that in their mind is higher priority based on this series. I'm purely basing it off this series. I personally would pick like Maokai or something, and I think Maokai would be a better pickup here than either Zaya or Rakan actually. But I think they're going to go for the Zaya Rakan. Let me get it right, and then I'll try and decide what I'm going to go for next. Just a reminder, I wouldn't have got the Kai'Sa right, so we're already kind of not really doing it properly. Maokai Jax. I said that as the Maokai came up, so hopefully they lock that in. Come on, lock it in. Lock that in. Lock that shit in so I can be correct, even though I've already got the Kai'Sa one wrong. Because I don't know why they banned Kai'Sa. Other than Marble has looked a bit weird on it. But that doesn't mean you need to... I guess it does mean you need to ban it, because you don't want Fennel picking it up against you if you're not going to play it. So I guess it does technically make sense. So for this pick, I'm going to say... Okay, so my first thought that came into my mind was Rumble. And that's the one I'm going to lock in. Even though they've mostly been picking Rumble like later, when they've picked up Rumble. I think they might want to pick it up now so they can get some power picks, and they already know what it's being picked into, so it makes sense. And there we go, beautiful. Ban is going to be support. I reckon they're going to go 2 supports. I reckon they're going to go for a Magia support. Fuck, I didn't get it out in time. I was literally about to say Karma or Lulu. They've gone for the Karma. This is going to be a jungler. It's going to be Vi. I haven't got anything wrong, but I have failed to predict twice. It was Vi. Beautiful. They're going to go for another support. It's going to be Mio. She gets banned a lot. She's going to get banned again here. Hopefully I'm correct, because she does get banned like every 5 minutes. She's banned in like almost all the series at least once. She's never been picked in a playoff series. She's actually only been banned twice in playoffs as well, actually. But she does get banned a lot in regular season. This is going to be another ban. It's probably going to be Annie. I mean, they banned Annie a lot. She's been banned once, picked once already in this series. I think she's going to get banned. I think she's getting banned here. There we go. As we continue the trend of blue side Hawks. This is going to be a top laner. I reckon maybe a tank. I was going to... I didn't get it out in time. I wasn't going to say silence, so it would have been wrong. This is going to be something like Zeri Rao, I reckon. Zeri, very strong in this region still. Very prevalent in this region still. Rao, very strong pick. And then red side are going to pick like Cassio or something. There we go, there's the Zeri lock-in. Come on, get the Rel as well, because I'm the LJL GOAT. No, don't go fucking Yumi Vista. You're not going to go Belba, Bussy. There's no way you ever go Belba, Bussy. So you go and pick up the Rel. Come on, go and pick up the Rel. You know you want to. Pick up the Rel. Pick up the Rel. There we go. Come on. This is going to be mid lane. And I said... Did I say Cassio earlier? I don't know why I said Cassio earlier, because it wasn't Cassio I meant, but I'm gonna stick with it. No way. Why? I mean, it makes sense, I guess. But why? Why are you listening to me recap? I mean, you're not. I'm like, the game's probably just finished by now. I think I'm like I'm far enough behind now that the game's probably just finished. So theoretically I could probably Google to see who won. But that's crazy. Why? Also, it's Hachimecha playing the Rumble, right? Or is it Hachimecha playing the Scion? Jungle Scion. Hype. I'm excited. Let's see what this final game has in store. Some interesting picks for Game 5. Come on, Hawks. I'm a Hawks fan because I'm a Marble fan because he's a V3 graduate. Come on, then. Let's go. Looks like Yunasu's... Oh, no, sorry. It looks like it's Ssol getting caught out here. He's caught out by Vista and Marble. That's going to be bad for Fennel. It's going to allow Hawks to get a massive advantage early on. And topside as well, with Blank putting so much pressure on Tanner, it could result badly. Although Yunasu's forced a flash, so maybe not too bad in the end. Obviously, ultimately, that's a loss for Fennel, but in the end, that could end up in a big win in the top lane for Tanner at the very least. As he's now got the flash of Yunatu out, although Yunatu does have an assist already in the game. Let's say get caught out. So he's obviously looking to just get some plate damage on the tower in the 1v1 situation, and then Vista comes down. Oh, Yunatu's going to die here. Blank's going to look to flash. He's going to look to get the trade back, and he's going to get that trade really nicely done by Blank, and to be honest, relatively well worked by Tanner to get the single kill in the first place. Good play from both sides, and that leaves the skill score at 3-1 with a goal lead of about a K in the favour of Hawks as things stand. Really nicely done. Looks like they're going to try and catch out Hatchmatcher here. Be interested to see what they can get from this, because he is a style, so he's very tanky, and I think he has flash. He does have flash, so he can flash over the wall here. So it's probably not likely they're going to get very much, but there's a massive collapse. It's going to be a 4v3, or 4v4, 5v4 actually with TPs. It's actually going to be a 5v5 once Terry manages to join it. Ssol versus Marble in a 1v1, but on the top side it's going to be Tana going down and Hatchimetra going very, very weak. But Blank is also very weak. He's going to go down quickly to the zombie. Corporal's going to go into stopwatch, but he's going to go down as soon as he gets out of it. Ssol's going to waste his ult as he points it in the wrong direction. He goes down to Marble. Recap is also likely to go down to Marble here, and that's going to be an ace for Hawks as they lose only 2. And the 2 players they lost, Marble and Blank, mean that they probably cannot take the Herald, to be honest. So they're going to have to reset and take that in a minute. Looks like we're going to get a fight around Drake here. Corporal is on a flank, but he looks to be... They know where he is. They don't know where Tana is by the looks of things. They don't know where Ssol is. Oh, we're going to get the ult from Hachimesh to go in. It lands on 1, which is the rail, which is probably the worst target to land on. Does look like they're going to get Blank caught out here. Blank goes down. That's probably the worst player you could lose first for Hawks, other than maybe Marble. That is an insane shot blast onto 3 that does so much damage. Dasher outputting a load of damage. Hatchmatch is going to keep playing bodyguard though. He's got a lot of HP to try and fend off that Hawks team. Cassio is going to go back and he's going to come teleport back in. That's a lot of damage onto Ssol though from another shot blast. That's really outputting way too much damage. But Cassio's going to come in. I think with that with Cassio coming in, Fennel can look to re-engage and take the fight. That's going to be Kinato going down to recap very, very quickly. And the whole team's got frozen by the recap. Oh, and that's 2 players down. That's going to be Marble and Vista just left to defend and try and hold the Drake themselves. They should probably just try and run. Marble ult, but he's going to go down to recap anyway, and that's going to be Drake, and that's going to be 4 for 1, I think, in the end. Or was it 4 for none in favour of Fennel? That was really well managed by Fennel, because they were behind going into that fight, and they're still technically 600 gold behind as things stand, and the situation is still in favour of the Hawks as well, so that's really problematic. That could turn the game on its head. As a Hawks fan, that's a bit tragic for us, but we'll have to see what happens. I think Fennel are showing that they really are definitely in the conversation for second best team in the league, rather than what a lot of the community seems to think, where Hawks are slightly clear of Fennel. So that is good for the league's health, I guess. Not good for my heart as a Hawks fan. Hopefully we can see Hawks close out the game. Hatchimetra has been caught out here by Blank and Vista. Marble's going to be joining in as well to do some damage. Corporal and Ssol are around to try and help, though. He's going to be... Ooh, Corporal's going to get a lot of damage done. Recap's going to be the one who gets caught out first, though. Hatchimetra's going to go down as well. Tanner's engaging onto Vista. I can't see what's happening topside, but Vista's going to go down very quickly. Tanner wastes his flash to do that, though. United's going to get onto Tanner now. He's going to lead the charge for Hawks. Hawks are probably going to back out. They know that a 2 for 1 is definitely advantageous for them, especially when they only lost their support. Well worked by Hawks. They're going to take the advantage out of that fight as well, and that reinstates their gold lead to just over a K. Nicely done for them. And that has settled my heart just a little bit more. I just said I settled my heart, but can you also look to take a 1v1? I'm not going to be able to see what's happened. Oh, okay, it's fine. We're fine. We're fine. We are fine. Fuck me, that replay. Oh, they could have let them show that Kinato was free first, really. Oh, God, Jesus. Can't lie, for the last few minutes, Hawks been sort of slapping Fennel with their wallets. Blank's going to get caught out here, but maybe it's Hatchmacher who's actually caught out. Blank's going to take a lot of damage from the sort of Fennel team in the general, but Corporal's gone down already. Hatchmacher's very, very weak, as is Ssol. It looks like both of those could be going down, but they might just retreat. Tanner's going to have to go into the stopwatch, otherwise he would have gone down. Recap flashes forward. What the... He's going to go down as well. Hatchmacher's very low on health. Kinasu's going to tank too many tower shots, so he's going to be quite low on health now as well. But it looks like they're just going to push through mid lane with Dasher here. So that means they can probably just look to go straight through and end. It's only 2 men to stand. Hatchmacher and Ssol, probably the 2 people you'd want to stand in terms of their performance so far in the series. But Hatchmacher's not going to be able to do much other than tank damage. Corporal's now back up, but Hatchmacher's on basically 1 HP. He does have his passive, so he will be able to use that as soon as he goes down. But that is still not going to be very useful in the grand scheme of things. Kinasu's going to take down bottom turret, but they're going to back off for now. They're going to probably look to reset and come back with the new newly invested gold, which they will be able to spend quite nicely because they've got a lot of money. That will be the end probably at that point, and that could be the end of the series. That will be the end of the series if they do end. Honestly, I think the wallets might be just a bit too strong here. The 5k gold difference is really beginning to add up. It's actually a 6k gold difference, mind my lack of maths. And it's going up as we go along, and it's going to be increasingly more and more difficult as it's now a 7k gold difference for Fennel to fight back. They're going to back off again, but I don't think it's going to be long before Fennel have to just give up. It might just be a case that Hawks want to grab the Ocean Soul before they actually try and go for an end. Whilst I get the logic behind it, especially when it's 2-2, I don't think that's going to be entirely necessary. They might just end up forcing a fight around it because it would force Fennel to actually react. The Waves will, if they manage properly, push in, and that will hurt Fennel's attempt to contest the Drake. And to be honest, there's not a lot Fennel can do to really contest the Drake. The game is basically over, because if Fennel go to contest, then Dash can backdoor. If they don't go to contest, then they're just giving up Ocean Soul, which should mean that any fight for Hawks is basically easily won. They're going to have to push up through bot lane here. There's 14 seconds until Drake spawns. Blank just going to take away the Gromp to try and reduce anything that Fennel can do on the way up. They're just going to have to trim bot lane, whilst Tanner is left to trim the mid lane, which has got a super minions in it and is going to be consistently dangerous. Hawk's going to start the Drake. It's already down below half health. Corporal's going to try and engage onto Vista, but the Drake's already gone. Now, Kinasu's going to look to try and cut off the Fennel retreat along with the rest of his team following up slowly. He's going to engage them slowly. He's going to hop onto Corporal. Corporal's already down to half HP. Tanner has arrived, but it might be a bit too late as the team's already very weak. Hatchmacher's down below half HP as well. Blank is very weak. He's going to have to back off. Blank's actually going to be the first one to go down. Ssol is going to be caught. He's going to go down very quickly. Corporal's going to try and protect Hatchmacher as he goes down. That's the whole team wiped. Oh my god. Hatchmacher is going to have to try and defend as a zombie for a little while. But that zombie's now gone, and they've now got 30 seconds to end. That's going to be game. They did pick up the Ocean Soul, but it didn't really make a lot of difference in the end. That was a series. Congrats to Hawks. They now going to face DFM in the upper bracket finals. Unlucky for Fennel. They've now got to face... no, they don't have to face... I've been saying they have to face Sengoku. They don't. They have to face the winner of Burning Core ADCs. So they've got the easier lower bracket game first. They will have to face Sengoku eventually before they can get a good game... before they can face either DFM or Hawks again. But they do have a chance to go on. They do have a few games that they can win. They should still realistically be finishing 3rd, 4th, depending on how they compete against Loken and Sengoku. But we'll have to see. Great performance from Hawks. Hopefully they can show some of their better games that they played in this game against DFM, and we can have a close series in that one. That's me clocking out. We'll see you in the next game.